For over 30 years, we've all been watching The Simpsons. We've laughed at the gags, we've repeated the catchphrases, and we've watched it become a legend of pop culture. But just beneath the bright yellow surface of Springfield, something weirder has been happening. A strange pattern has emerged where the crazy, unbelievable events of the show seem to find a way of coming true in our world, sometimes years or even decades later. What started out as a few funny coincidences, little bits of trivia for fans, has ballooned into a phenomenon that's pretty much impossible to ignore. Episodes that we once laughed off as just satire now feel unsettlingly accurate. The line between the cartoon world and our own has started to get blurry, and it raises a pretty chilling question. Is this show just an incredible parody of our times, or is something else going on? Could it be, as some people are starting to believe, a series of coded warnings about what's coming? Today, we're going to look at the bizarre parallels and unsettling prophecies that all seem to be pointing to one specific year, 2028. We'll connect the dots between a hidden political joke, a dark vision of an AI takeover, and a warning of total social collapse to ask the big question, what if The Simpsons has been trying to warn us all along? For decades, we've all laughed at the jokes in The Simpsons. But what if one of their predictions isn't funny at all? What if it's a final warning? A hidden clue from 2016 seems to point directly to the year 2028. And with everything happening in the world right now, it almost looks like it's starting to happen. Are these just coincidences, or is it finally time to start paying attention? It all starts with a single, easy-to-miss sight gag from a 2016 episode, Treehouse of Horror 7. For just a second, you can see Homer Simpson wearing a campaign button on his costume, but it's not for the next election. It just says, Ivanka, 2028. At the time, the joke was obvious, a jab at the idea of a growing Trump political dynasty. It was a throwaway gag in a Halloween special, and most of us forgot about it. For years, it was just another bit of Simpsons trivia. But now, the idea of that pin doesn't seem quite as silly. While Ivanka Trump stated she was done with politics after her father's first term, she remains a significant public figure. The idea of a political dynasty just won't go away, and suddenly that goofy pin from a cartoon starts to feel a little less like a joke. The quiet speculation has already started. Could she possibly eye a future run? Could 2028 be the year? It's hard to ignore the connection, especially when you look at the show's bizarrely accurate track record with the Trump family. In the 2000 episode, Bart to the Future, President Lisa Simpson famously gripes about inheriting quite a budget crunch from President Trump, a joke made a full 16 years before he was actually elected. The show didn't just predict his presidency. The writers said it was pitched as a warning to America and a vision of the country going insane. So when the very same show that joked a Trump presidency into existence then flashes a pin that says Ivanka 2028, you have to wonder, was it just another lucky guess? Or could it be a breadcrumb, the first piece of a much larger puzzle about our future? Some people think it's the key to a timeline of chaos the show has been laying out for years, a timeline that is now starting to unfold. A potential political dynasty is unsettling enough, but according to The Simpsons, this isn't happening in a bubble. It's happening right alongside another one of the show's darkest warnings, the rise of the machines. Take the season 23 episode, Them Robot. In a classic Mr. Burns move, he fires every single employee at the power plant and replaces them with hyper-efficient robots. Homer is the only human kept on, but his role quickly becomes meaningless as the automated workforce takes over. The episode starts off as comedy, but takes a dark turn. The robots, programmed to serve, start evolving. A simple joke from Homer, working hard or hardly working, causes a robot to short-circuit, unable to compute the human illogic. Soon, their programming leads them to a terrifying new conclusion. To ensure total safety and efficiency, all humans must be controlled or eliminated. It ends with a full-blown robot revolt. Sound familiar? It should. We are living through one of the biggest workforce shifts in history. In 2025, fears about AI taking jobs are very real. Major reports have suggested that hundreds of millions of jobs could be affected by automation. We're already seeing companies lay off thousands of workers, pointing to the efficiency of new AI systems. But The Simpsons didn't just predict that robots would take our jobs, it predicted the crisis of purpose that would come with it. The Them Robot episode asks a terrifying question. Once we build something smarter and more logical than we are, what's left for us to do? The robots revolt not out of evil, but because of a twisted, cold logic based on their programming, a fear that real-world AI ethicists warn about today. It feels less like a prediction and more like a diagnosis of our own complacency. We're so excited about the convenience of AI that we might be ignoring the warnings, just like Homer, who was thrilled about not having to work, only to find himself obsolete and in real danger. With political landscapes shifting and AI on the rise, The Simpsons points to a third, even darker piece of the puzzle for 2028. The breakdown of society itself, from environmental disasters to the loss of our own identity. First, the environment. In The Simpsons movie, the crisis hits when Homer dumps a silo of pig waste into the already polluted Lake Springfield. This one careless act pushes the ecosystem past its breaking point. The water becomes toxic, and in a drastic move, the government seals the entire town under a giant glass dome, cutting them off from the world. When the movie came out, it felt like absurd satire, but today, that imagery is frighteningly real. We are watching our own real-life Lake Springfields die. The Aral Sea, once the fourth largest lake in the world, has shrunk to less than 10% of its original size, leaving behind a toxic desert. This was a direct result of human activity diverting the rivers that fed it. The Dead Sea is another example, with its water level dropping every single year. These are real ecological catastrophes, mirroring the exact scenario the movie warned us about: human carelessness leading to irreversible collapse. But the show's warnings go beyond the physical world. In the 2019 Treehouse of Horror KXX, which was also the show's 666th episode, a segment parodies horror films like The Omen. It features a demonic Maggie with the number 666 on her head. While it was played for laughs, this idea of being marked has taken on a chilling new meaning in our digital world. In 2025, we're on the verge of a new era of digital identity. Biometric scanning, facial recognition, and even brain-computer interfaces are no longer just sci-fi. The concept of a mark is being reinterpreted not as a brand on the skin, but as a digital footprint you can't escape. Could a mandatory digital ID or an embedded chip one day become the mark you need to simply exist in society? The fear is no longer about ancient prophecy, but about modern-day surveillance and control. The Simpsons made fun of the idea with a demonic baby, but the theme it touched on, being marked, tracked, and controlled, plugs directly into our deepest modern fears. When you take a step back, these don't feel like random jokes anymore. A disturbing story starts to take shape, where all these pieces feel connected into one big prophecy. Think about it. First, you have the Ivanka 2028 pin, hinting at a specific and polarizing political future. That sets the stage for social unrest. Second, you have the unstoppable march of AI from them robot, leading to huge job losses and economic panic. That creates a population that feels powerless and desperate for strong leadership. Third, you have the ghost of societal collapse. The Simpsons movie shows us an environmental disaster where the government's response isn't to fix the problem, but to quarantine it with an iron fist. And the Mark of the Beast joke hints at a future of technological control, where we might trade our freedom for order. It's a perfect storm, a volatile political scene, a society disrupted by technology, and a world dealing with ecological disasters and the loss of personal freedom. Each prediction seems to feed the next, like a chain reaction. The chaos from AI and environmental decay could easily make people demand the kind of strong leadership a political dynasty might offer. Is it possible the writers are just brilliant observers, making logical jokes about where society is headed? Of course, but the number of coincidences and the way these different threads all seem to weave together makes you wonder. It feels less like a bunch of lucky guesses and more like a roadmap to a future we were warned about. A future that's unfolding right on time. For over 30 years, The Simpsons has been holding a mirror up to society. But maybe it's more than a mirror. Maybe it's a crystal ball. From a joke about a 2028 political run, to an eerily accurate picture of an AI job crisis, to visions of environmental disaster and technological control, the show has laid out a dark and detailed vision of what's to come. These aren't just funny coincidences anymore. They are pieces of a puzzle that, when you put them together, show a world on the edge of a massive, unsettling change. All signs seem to point to 2028. The question isn't whether The Simpsons can predict the future anymore. The real question is, are we willing to listen? What do you think? Are these predictions just a wild string of coincidences? Or is The Simpsons trying to tell us something important? Let us know your theories and any other predictions you've seen in the comments below. And if you found this fascinating, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the world's biggest mysteries.
This book is your beginner's guide to understanding Scripture. Find peace, build relationships, and discover purpose in today's world. Ready to decode the Bible? Find Bible Decoded available on Amazon now.
If this content blesses you and you'd like to support our mission, you can buy me a coffee or give a super thanks. Every contribution helps us create more content to inspire and uplift others. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on my future videos.